Hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here at the Ruttenberg Library. Come to you this absolutely beautiful morning for a Friday Reads and let you know how my week's been going and how the reading has been progressing. And so I just wanted to start off, with some weekly news from my life. Start off with some really good news. First of all, we got some hints at possibly having our baseball season this summer for the high school boys. It's a possibility. They're starting to progress with some plans on how they're going to do it. It might be delayed. It might be a shortened season, but baseball being my favorite sport, I can't think of a better way if we're going to start getting back into real life, this being the way to get back in and integrate ourselves back into a regular society, I guess. But anyway, yeah, baseball season, possibly. I'm pretty excited about that. So this week we've been doing a lot of stuff. The weather's been beautiful outside, so we started doing some outside stuff. Been getting the yard mowed up. I actually got the entire yard mowed for the first time all year because it had been, early in the spring how things are kind of patchy on what comes up, what grass grows and what grass doesn't. And so this was the first week I've been able to mow the entire yard, and that was fun. That's the chores in our house. That's always my chore, and so I take a little pride in it. I mean, at least keeping the yard short anyway. I take pride in that. So anyway, got the yard mowed. We're gonna get the garden all tilled up here. Couple days. I told you in a couple videos ago that I was going to get the the garden tilled up. I did not get that done because we had to get all of the branches that fell from that snowstorm a couple weeks ago. We got those all kind of piled up, and I thought I had a plan to get them hauled off, and I'm going to have to make plan B. And so anyway, we got that taken care of, and I had to shimmy up some fairly tall pine trees in our yard, and one of our pine trees is just absolutely butchered. It's missing 8 pretty good sized branches all in the same spot. I don't really understand why they all fell in one spot. The tree looks naked in that one spot. So anyway, we got that done, and then yesterday we went to the greenhouses are open here in Iowa, and so we went to the greenhouse and picked up some flowers and some garden stuff, some tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff like that. And so today, my job after I get done at school this morning, after I get everything done there, I'm coming home this afternoon to till the garden. It's going to get done today so we can get those plants in the ground, and my wife's going to work on getting her flower pots all done up. And we bought we didn't buy, we got this planter, this stand-up planter that my wife's grandfather who'd passed away, he'd given that to us right before he passed away, and so we've got that on the back porch, and that's going to be kind of, I think, my daughter Katie's little garden. And so anyway, and I guess if we had some real positive news, it sounds like today, because in a lot of the counties in Iowa are rural counties. We haven't been really hit with COVID all that bad. I mean, relatively speaking, fingers crossed here. We haven't been hit as hard as most of the nation, and so we have a possibility, it sounds like, of her lifting some of the restrictions on some of the different businesses. And I know there was talk of the restaurants opening up at half capacity and stuff like that, and a lot of the businesses like the hardware stores and even the antique place was still open. You just had to limit the number of people inside the building. And so I don't know if it's good or bad. I'm hoping it's okay and it's good. Like I said, our neck of the woods hasn't been hit nearly as hard as others. There's still a lot of counties around us. We've only had one case, and there's still a lot of counties around us who've had no cases whatsoever. And so I'm hoping that once they do this is not gonna invite in the virus. I'm hoping maybe it's starting to slow down. It's my wishful thinking. The glass is half full. But anyway, been getting my school stuff done as I'd been talking about. We've been putting everything online for the kids, and I think that's been working fairly well. I had some technical difficulties yesterday with the computer stuff and trying to upload some stuff, but I don't know if it's something I did or what. I don't know. But anyway, for the most part, all that's been going fairly well. I told you before, my bookcase is upstairs in the upper room. We cleaned that room out a couple weeks ago, or a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and so I've been able to get in there to get to my books for once. And we created some shelves, so an extra shelf for each of the cases, and they all fit perfect except the last case. And so now today I'm gonna try to dig the saw back out, and it's off by like literally half a blade length, and it's irritating. But anyway, I'm going to cut that and get that all fit in there so I can fix my cases. Got a daughter who's going to be turning 17. Talk about making you feel old. But she'll be turning 17 soon. And lately, if you've been watching and following the channel, watching things, I've been putting up lots of book tags. I've found lots of those out there. There are more book tags out there than I thought. And so I've been kind of cruising through, and I've been piggybacking on some of your guys' channels out there, because you've got all these tags that have been done, and I'm just going through and, oh yeah, I haven't done that, and so I've been putting a lot of those up. I'll probably continue to do that as I'm sitting here at home and as I've got access to the upper room with all my books, so I can dig stuff out to show you. Let's see here. I hope to come with a couple of shelf tours. I should have 2 or 3 of those coming this weekend, or in this next week. I hope to get the filming done this weekend. Should have had those done, but I just couldn't get it timed out, where with everybody having to stay inside for the most part, having a quiet house is well, you guys know how that goes. Sometimes that's kind of hard to do when you got little kids at home. I did want to tell you about, I do have a original tag that I'm going to be putting out here this week, and so I want you to be looking for that. It should be kind of a fun tag. It's going to be, I think I'm going to entitle it The Life of the Middle Schooler Book Tag, and I think you'll enjoy it. I had some fun yesterday when I was penciling out the ideas, and I haven't seen anybody else. There's a middle grade tag, but that's going to be different than the one I'm creating, and I hope you enjoy it. So be looking forward, be looking for that. Oh, and book 2, completely forgot to tell you. I have to add this part of the video in. I was able to pick up some books, 4 books this week, and I wanted to share those with you. We've got one of those free libraries here in town, in the downtown. It's you drop off a book, or you give one, you get one. I can't remember what it's a free little boxed library. But anyway, I found, a couple weeks ago, I dropped off like 3 or 4 books at one time. So they don't have very many of the books I like. A lot of it's the love, romance, novel stuff, which I don't read at all. And so I check in there when we do our daily walks, my dog and and then when my daughter and I go for our walks, we go through there each day, and I kind of peek inside just to see if there's anything new. And I found this one, Enola Gay. And this is obviously part of the dropping of the atomic bomb and the story of the Enola Gay. I started it, only got a chapter in. It was just like 6 pages in, but I'm probably going to start picking my way through that. That was a new book. I also picked up 2 books for $1 each when I was out at we were out at Wiseman's looking for a dryer, because our dryer went out, and I picked up The Right and the Power, The Prosecution of Watergate by Leon Jaworski. And here we go. And picked that up for $1. I've got several others that I've picked up on, Watergate, the different people involved in Watergate, from Nixon's point of view to the other point of view. And so this is just going to be, I think, another one to help round out just the opinions of the thing. I picked up this book, The Chief Executive, Inaugural Addresses of the Presidents from George Washington to Lyndon Johnson, with an introduction by Arthur Schlesinger Jr., and the commentary has been done by Fred L. Israel. And I wanted that book because I am constantly printing off, not constantly, but every once in a while, I will print off inaugural addresses to help help me with my primary sources and stuff that I use in my classroom. And I thought, holy cow, got them all in one book. So I thought that was a pretty good pickup, even though it's limited. It only gets to Lyndon Johnson. But in my class, the classes that I teach, I don't bring it up to the present. We don't get that far. Those are other people's classes. And then I picked up, I saw this, a memoir of Barbara Bush, by Barbara Bush. And I probably picked that up more because when I was a kid, I don't really remember, and maybe some of you go through the same thing, but when you're real little, you don't pay attention to politics and all that kind of stuff. And the Bush family was in the presidency when George Bush was the president when I was first grade, well, basically elementary years. And I've been wanting to go back and start reading about the 1980s and the 1990s. I've been starting to get into that time frame, and so I've been starting to pick up stuff on George Bush and his family, and Ronald Reagan and his family, and Bill Clinton and his family. So I can get that spectrum. Anyway, those are my new pickups, and that was a 50-center, by the way. Those are my new pickups this week. Wanted to add that in. Forgot to tell you. Let's look at what have I been reading and what did I get finished, all that kind of stuff. And I got, as I told you last week on Friday Reads, I finished up right at was it Saturday, I think, maybe Sunday, I can't remember. The book Prisoners of Geography, 10 Major Maps That Explain Everything About the World by Tim Marshall. And I highly recommend that book. It's a little bit dated. It's 5 years old, maybe, something like that. I'd have to look at the date. I can't remember. But it's about 5 years old. But it took a lot of the geography of the world. Tim Marshall looks at the geography of the world and shows the reader how geography has definitely played a role in civilization, in how civilization has evolved, and how some countries are successful compared to other countries. And he really he's taken some of the past, but he's linked it into current day politics, and it's very, very interesting. He shows how not only did it affect back in 1,000 years ago, but it also affects us still today. And he proves that with various points and looks around the world to different countries. And I just found that very fascinating. And I think this would be interesting to kind of maybe read even side by side with Jared Diamond's Guns, Germs, and Steel, because he hits on that also, on how geography affects society and or civilizations and how they develop. It's very, very interesting. Would highly recommend that. I enjoyed listening to that. Gonna probably buy that book someday and reread it, because as I said, I'm trying to get into this audiobook thing, but I'm just not sold on it yet. But anyway, what I'm currently doing now, I got one more audiobook that I had checked out from my online library. It was called Wild Bill, The True Story of the American Frontier's First Gunfighter by Tom Clavin. And that's been pretty good too. I'm venturing into uncharted territories for myself, dipping my toe in the pond here. I've never read anything on Wild Bill or any of the gunfighters for that matter. And it's pretty fascinating, and it's showing how the Civil War played a big role in his life. And yeah, anyway, it's pretty interesting. I'm not super far into it. I'm probably, 15-20% through, but it's been interesting. Some other books that I am reading. I've told you about Lincoln, Self-Made Man. I wished I would have gotten a bigger chunk of this done. I did not. I got another 100 pages done or so, and I'm kind of ashamed of that because I should have had a lot more done. But I had a lot of stuff come up, and my mind was going in 30 different directions, and I did some additional stuff on my online schooling that was pretty time-consuming, and it all dealt with reading, by the way. I'm reading some passages and stuff for my kids and putting those videos up so that they can follow along with me, and there's a lot of them because we're getting ready to do we're working through our Civil War unit, and I just have a lot of stuff that we use during that unit, and so that has been time-consuming. But I guess I can use that as a little bit of an excuse. I also cracked the cover of The American Civil War by John Keegan, the military history, and I cracked that cover. That's so far good. I only did the introduction, and it was only a few pages long, but I hope to get into that. I'm going to have to find a couple hours during the afternoon to get into it. On my honey-do list, I keep finding new stuff on my honey-do list, so whether that happens or not, we'll see. Now, the other one, the last book I want to talk about that was very interesting, I found this on my shelf. When I was putting in those new shelves into my bookcases, I was, of course, rearranging books and getting them all nice and neat, kind of doing them by size and everything. Well, anyway, I found an old book that I'd read, and it's called The Fifth Grave by Jonathan Latimer, and it's a murder mystery, basically, or detective novel, and it is from, let's see, this is from Popular Library out of New York. As I said, it's a detective novel. This is originally a 1946 book. My copy is a 1950, and this is a very, very, very beat up copy. I found it on my shelves. I read this like a long time ago, 20 years ago, give or take. And give or take a year. It was about 20 years ago, and I remember thoroughly enjoying it. I don't know why, because I don't read this type of stuff ever. This is one of the only detective novels I've ever read, but by the same token, it does not surprise me that I liked it, because when I watch TV, I like the show Law and Order and shows like that. I love them. I love just The Rookie on TV. I think that's fun. I think, just cop shows in general and detective stuff. As a family, we've been watching the mystery shows on Hallmark. It's good, clean fun. Okay, don't make fun of me too much, but we like them because it's just good, clean stuff that you can watch with the whole family. And I like detective stuff, I guess. And I might jump into the pool head first on some of this. I might try to find some more detective novels, but this is an old one that I'd had. It was probably my senior year when I read it, maybe my freshman year of college. Got it in a box of books, and I read it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It is not a Pulitzer. It's actually probably not very good. It would be, I don't know how to describe it. But I enjoy it. It's maybe one of those that you just don't brag about. But I thought it was fun. It's a fun book. As you could tell, I don't know if you could tell, it's very, very beat up. Matter of fact, it was so beat up that the second time around when I read it, a few years after that, I was teaching at that point, and it was falling apart so bad I didn't want to throw it away. Maybe for nostalgia, I don't know, but I didn't want to throw it away. So I went to tape it, but I didn't obviously have any Scotch tape at that point, and I actually used athletic tape. Oh my gosh, big booktubers, do not run me out of town. But I used athletic tape on the cover, and you can tell when this morning I peeled it off, it was crusty. That's how long ago it was, and it took a little bit of the cover, but this book's in so bad a shape it almost needs thrown away. It's almost not salvageable. But I took some book tape and tried to, I don't know if you could tell, well, you can kind of see it. I tried to salvage it a little bit so that I could get one last read out of it. But if you look, I took some tape here. It is separated, the cover from the spine. I tried to do this, but then the more I did this, the more, you see what's happening? The more the pages fell apart. But anyway, I tried to salvage it. I'm going to get one last good read out of this. I did find it in a reprint on Amazon, and I might purchase it just for nostalgia. And I don't know, maybe I'll take one of those giant paper clips and just hold it together and stick it in a box so I don't have to throw it away. But anyway, I started that. I will finish this weekend. It's a very fast read. Anyway, that's my reading life, BookTube. Feel free to leave comments down below. I hope everybody finds themselves healthy and having some good time with your books and getting some new reads in that maybe you wouldn't have been able to do in prior times. Thank you for watching, BookTube. See you later.